presents Heard on Thursdays, the iconic radio talk show that made Philippine FM radio talk. Winner of multiple KBP Golden Dove Awards. HOT. Heard on Thursdays. Your host, Rhea Rams.
Manila's hottest monster, RX93.1. Good afternoon and welcome to the show that made Philippine FM Radio Talk KBP's best podcast program, heard on Thursdays again right here on Manila's hottest monster, RX93.1. I'm your host, Rhea Rams. And when we think of art and music, we often think of big stages, professional studios, or work of people with extraordinary talent, right? But creativity isn't reserved for just professionals. It's something that all of us carry. It shows up in the doodles on a notebook, the song that you hum on a stressful day, or the colors that you choose to brighten your home or your outfit. Art and music aren't just hobbies. They're forms of self-care, connection, community. They're ways of reminding ourselves that we are human. And when passion meets purpose, they can even grow into something much bigger, a business that brings people together. Now, today, we are joined by two people who are doing exactly that. Alexi and Luigi Yotoko, the duo, your creative friends behind ArtBuds, a creative space in Makati that makes art and music accessible to people of all ages, from children to titas of Manila. We are going to talk about turning passion into a livelihood, why creativity matters beyond the canvas and the stage, and how art and music can help us care for ourselves and for each other. This episode is about reclaiming creativity. And of course, remembering that you don't have to be an artist to make art. Heard on Thursdays, let's welcome to the show Alexi and Luigi Yotoko of ArtbudsPH. Woo!
Hi, Rhea. Thanks for having us.
Alexi, Luigi, we are just so excited to have you both here today. I feel like this conversation is going to be such a fun one because it's not just about art or music, but just about creativity as a whole. So please introduce yourselves to the monsters.
Hi, I'm Alexi Yotoko. I'm, CEO of ArtBuds?
Yeah. And I'm Luigi, president of ArtBuds. Yeah.
All right. Well, now that a lot of people know you guys as the duo, your friends in creativity, right?
Mhm.
From ArtbudsPH. Now, this is a very beautiful creative space in Makati where a lot of people of all ages come together to paint, to play music, well, during the summers,
Yes.
and also to create just in general. But for those who are tuning in for the first time, how would you describe what ArtBuds is and what inspired you guys to start this space?
So ArtBuds is like a space where people can paint. It's more like it's a painting studio, but it's really a place for anybody to just create anything.
We call it a creative space.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah. So it's a small studio space in Caravan in Makati. And when you enter, there's gonna be a lot of art prints, paintings on the wall. There are lots of painted mugs and canvases, and it looks very messy, but it's a very inviting and interesting space. You can come in and you can choose any item to paint. So if you want to feel like painting a mug or a canvas or a tote bag, you just pick what you want and sit there for a couple of hours and just let your creativity flow.
Right.
And it's really fun. It's really beginner friendly. We love working there. We love that we created it. We love seeing everybody's work.
Yeah, and you guys started during the pandemic as online art classes, right?
Yeah.
So can you
Yes.
tell us what inspired you to do that, and what made you decide to expand to this creative space instead of just lessons?
Yeah. So Rhea, we're batchmates, right? So
Yes.
graduating, it was for me, graduating college was before the pandemic started.
Mhm.
So it was March of 2020.
Right.
So I was really excited to apply for so many jobs and all of that stuff. And nobody was hiring because we were locked down.
Right.
And at the time, Luigi was working in BDO. And so during the lockdown, I didn't really have anything to do. So I focused on my art. I took marketing, by the way, which is a super business course. I really wanted to be a marketing girl. And,
She was shopping for her corporate outfits.
yeah,
already.
corporate outfits, really all that stuff. And then when I couldn't do any of that, I started diving into my art. And I was very interested in digital art.
Mhm.
So anything that I was thinking about, we were at home all day. There was a lot going on. So I would put out an artwork like every day. And I just needed to post it somewhere. I had this little art account that I was trying to be very fearless in by like posting a lot of artwork. So I started doing that. Sooner or later, somebody asked me, it was like a second cousin of mine who asked me like, hey, can you teach my kids online art?
Okay.
And so I said, yeah, sure. I did that as a favor. And then they started bringing in their friends for these Zoom art classes. And it soon became.
It just took one mommy influencer to
Yeah.
post her. And
Oh,
then we were like,
wow.
okay, we need to have a name for this
Yeah.
already.
So we started I started ArtBuds.
Yeah,
and it
she's
was
the
just
founder. So yeah.
art classes
Mhm.
with me.
Mhm.
And Luigi was kind of feeling that a lack of creativity in his job and his life.
Yeah,
And
I wanted, I used to perform in like schools and
Right.
stuff. So I kind of lost that when I was working, and I
Mhm.
wanted the creative job again. So,
yeah, we wanted to make room for all that creativity that we had. And so he and I thought of like, hey, let's teach music too.
mhm.
And so he started teaching music online. I was teaching art online, and that's how it all started. It was more like a kids space.
Mhm.
And around 2022 or 2023, my cousin who owned a preschool, she asked me like, hey, I have no use for the preschool at certain hours. I'm opening in BGC. Would you like to use a space for that?
Mhm.
So it became
That's
like,
when we got our first physical
yeah.
space.
Nice.
Yeah.
so a lot of help from a lot of people.
Yes.
Mhm.
And sooner or later, with all the kids, we wanted to invite some adults to join in
Right.
for the art stuff and their creativity, because they realize, it's not just a kid thing. Like,
Mhm.
why can't adults play like kids do
Mhm.
True.
and creatively? So yeah, we
Yeah.
started out in BGC. We had all this kid furniture. We would have like a
People would be like down low.
yeah,
everything.
you had to like
Yeah.
sit on the rubber matted floor
Yeah.
and
Oh
like
my God.
paint a little canvas there. Like it was really funny to look at,
Yeah.
but people still enjoyed it.
Mhm.
That's how we started. But then we realized after a while, our customers were getting like we're older.
Yeah.
People would be going for dates or for team buildings.
Right.
So we were like, maybe we should cater to the older people too.
Yeah.
I mean, the adults.
And we ended up opening up a space in Caravan, which we really, really
Mhm.
love.
Yeah.
And yeah, we really love seeing people create stuff and just like giving them the outlet to do so.
Mhm.
Like it evolved from a kid's place to just being the space that we always wish we had and wish we
Mhm.
like. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, Monsters, I have been there myself. It was so much fun. Like, it's such a great way to get your mind off of things,
Mhm.
and reignite that creativity
Mhm.
that you may have lost because, like you guys mentioned, a lot of times we're kind of caught in work,
Yes.
especially as adults, right? Like, we're caught in our
We get
lives
too
or
busy for everything. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when you're on your own, it's kind of hard to just dive into that
Mhm.
creative space, especially if you haven't been there for a long time. So ArtBuds does give you that space and that opportunity to really explore that without having to pressure yourself too much.
Exactly. Like we were just talking about this morning. Like I feel like nowadays people are either in this space of overproduction when it comes to work or
Super,
overconsumption
yeah.
when it comes to relaxation time.
Mhm.
So either we're forced to be very, very productive and to like put out so many things,
Mhm.
or when we're at home, we're forced to consume too many things. So like, scrolling on your phone or
Mhm.
anything like
Netflix or whatever.
and
Yeah.
that's why I feel like a lot of people don't know how to be bored anymore. Like
Mhm.
boredom is almost completely gone.
People aren't bored anymore. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of creativity and beauty when it comes to being creative comes from boredom.
Mhm.
And so creating that space wherein like you have no choice, like you're not there to like stay on your phone and watch some reels. You're not there to like work on things. Like you're just there
You're present
to
and you
create
just create.
something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Exactly. And that is what makes ArtBuds, I think, such a beautiful space. And now I'd like to rewind a little bit.
Mhm.
So, Alexi, let's start with you.
Mhm.
Growing up, what was your relationship with art like? Like, were you the kid who was always drawing and painting or doodling? Or did that passion come a little bit later?
I was a very clueless kid, like super clueless, like head in the clouds. Like a lot of teachers would be very frustrated that I just didn't really understand things. Like
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't really call it stupidity. It was more of just like I didn't have like my brain didn't work in a very visual sense or anything like that. Like I was always doodling or doing something else. And art has always been something that I loved and I was very passionate about.
Mhm.
Like creativity just came very naturally to me. That was a place that I would still consider my home.
Right.
Yeah, like being creative is always a place where I feel super comfortable.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I wasn't really the class artist or anything like that. I
Mhm.
was more just like crafty and like a little bit odd. Like I would try. Like I never stopped trying. That's what I think is one of my greatest qualities.
Mhm.
Like my best friend used to tell me that, you could tell that I was very loved and supported at home because even if I was wrong, I would just like try again and again and again. I
Aw.
didn't really feel much shame.
I love that.
And yeah, so having art as an outlet, I just kept that really like open. And I wasn't necessarily good at that time, but then I remember one time I was doodling on a piece of paper and some girl walked by and was just like, "Oh, that's not bad." Like that was really just like it was the slightest compliment and I was like, "Wow, I'm quite good at this."
Validation.
And it was I really like held on to that validation and I was just like, okay, actually I'm an artist. That's my
That's all
thing
you need
now.
though.
Yeah.
And so I just kept on doodling and then it became something that I just kept practicing at. And I feel like that's something that people really need nowadays because like it just takes one small compliment sometimes to really like self-study, dive in
Mhm.
and like treat this like a passion and
Mhm.
really get to know yourself. And I had a lot of self-discovery with art and it will continue to be a place that I call home.
Yeah. And I love that you said, you weren't good at it,
Mhm.
but you never stopped trying.
Yeah,
Mhm.
never.
And that's the thing though with creativity or just any hobby that you do now. Like we were talking about this before we went on air. You don't have to be
You
good
shouldn't
at
be afraid to be
Yeah,
a beginner, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be good at something unless you're bad at it first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of the time. There are people who just are naturally gifted, but not everyone, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, creativity especially is something that you just gotta do.
Mhm.
Now, Luigi, what about you? What was your earliest connection to music? And was there a moment where you thought, okay, I think this is more than just a hobby, this is really a part of me?
So music's been around me my whole life. I come from a family of singers and musicians.
Oh, wow.
My mom was in a band. My dad's a music engineer. My sister sings too. So everyone does music. So in high school we would have like projects where you'd have to write songs and all.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was that era of YouTube. This is like back in 2012. So it was that era on YouTube where you would like post covers and all that. So yeah, back in high school I would make covers, write songs, and then it just grew from there. Then I'd be invited to perform in fairs and all
Mhm.
that. And
And a big leg up because of Showtime.
oh yeah, and I
Yeah.
was also on TV one time.
Oh,
So that gave me some exposure as well.
Yeah.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then yeah, so I've been making covers and music all my since my early teens, I would say. So
He told me that he first learned how to play the guitar to impress a girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
but-
Not me, but but
that's okay though.
no, I thank her for it. Like, I get all the rewards.
I love that. That's a mindset.
Yes.
I love that's such a healthy mindset. I love that. And so you did Alexi did mention that during the pandemic you felt like you needed a creative outlet because you were working in corporate
bank, yes,
in the
yes,
bank, yeah.
yes.
So now when you explored that, are you still in the bank?
No, I'm full time with art.
With art.
Yes.
So when how did that decision come to be? Like, I mean, of course, when it comes to corporate, it's a bit more stable.
Mhm,
You know,
yes, of
you're
course, yeah.
it's more stable versus like the creative career path, right?
Mhm.
But what made you decide like, okay, this is a risk I'm willing to take?
It was there's definitely a shift at some point when there was enough demand, because at first it was like a side hustle for us. We would
Mhm.
do our own commission work or maybe our other stuff first,
Mhm.
and then there was a time when we were like, okay, this is enough to sustain us and do well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the pandemic actually taught us a lot about it too,
Mhm.
because we came from a point in which like we were expected to have like a day job and stuff like that, and it was part of life and the corporate grind and everything like
Mhm.
that. We took business, so we understood what was necessary. But when the pandemic came, we kind of focused on what was really important to us, and ArtBuds kind of came with that because for me I had no choice. But for Luigi, like when he started diving into creativity as an outlet for him to like cope with all of like
Yes.
the busyness of work and also the pandemic, like work home. It's kind of like it gets kind of
Right.
crazy.
I also found the job
Yeah.
more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Teaching people how to make
Yeah.
music and all. Like, yeah.
So it became like it was an outlet, and then it became like, we really do love this. Let's figure it out. I actually, like, after the pandemic, I tried to get a quote unquote real job. Because I thought that I was still insecure about this job. Of course, it was a small business. You kind of get insecure about like,
There are a
whether
lot
or
of
not
risks,
this is a
yes.
real job or
Mhm.
anything. So I applied for a job at Uniqlo and I quit after the first week.
Oh my god.
It was probably like a record for the shortest employment.
Yeah. That's when I realized that, ArtBuds has to be my main thing because it reminded me of what I wanted. I mean, of course, it was so embarrassing to quit after 1 week, but but it made us see that, like, okay, wait, this is real. Let's figure this out. Let's dive into this. And we kind of had like a very, this is our life, one life mindset. If we're still young, if we fail, we fail.
We can be risky now, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it's embarrassing. In fact, I think it's quite brave because I mean, you had something that was just starting. Like you said, it was a small business, but you were like, no, I'm gonna do this. Even if I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I think that's really brave. Now, since ArtBuds has welcomed so many people into this creative space, let's warm things up with something a little bit fun, okay? What's one of your favorite or funniest moments with someone who came in to try art or even music? Maybe someone who wasn't a professional at all, but surprised themselves in the process.
Let me think about that.
There are a lot of like people who say when they come in, they're like, "Oh, I haven't painted since grade school," and then it ends up really good. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me,
I don't know. We've kind of like shifted what like good art is to us, and like it's not about being skilled. It's just like the feeling that it evokes. Like you can tell somebody really like tried their best and had a lot of love to give to their artwork.
Right.
I would say like funny moments would be the paint your partner experience.
Yeah, so that's an activity we have for the listeners where partners or friends just paint like a portrait of each other.
Yeah, so you sit across from each other and then you like try your best to draw them and then you paint them afterwards. Like a lot of people fail at this. I mean, like
some end in arguments.
Yes,
not gonna
like
lie.
especially because a lot of people like to keep it a surprise till the end.
Right.
So
And
there's like a
Luigi and
reveal in the end.
Yeah, Luigi and I see what's going on.
And we're like, oh no.
We're like, okay. And like the anticipation comes up and they're just like, okay, 3, 2, 1. Flip their artworks around and then the girl just goes, "But kanya!" See me?
Yeah.
And those are like funny moments. But then like it comes from the most like good place, like good-hearted place. And although sometimes we do really offer our help when things are going really poorly, we're just like
midway,
okay.
we're like, do you need help?
Okay, that's cool.
I can assist you, please.
Please let me. But yeah, that's so awesome. I remember when I visited ArtBuds, the couple beside me, they were doing that. But wow, like the one who I was beside was doing so good. I was like, I stopped painting I was just like staring at.
You're like, wow.
Wow. And then he was like, "Yeah, I don't really do art." I'm just like,
exactly. That's what happens. They're always like,
Really?
I don't do much, and then boom.
Yeah, I feel like the more visibility that we've gotten as a business, the better the artists have
Yeah, we would
like,
say the skill has improved.
Yeah,
a lot,
because before people were really just like, oh, beginners, or sometimes it was our friends growing. Like when we started the business, our friends would be our most the most customers would be our friends, and now like we're getting people who are like very interested in art.
Right.
Like some of them are like the child prodigies with art and then stopped for a bit
Oh,
and
wow.
then continue and they're just as good
Wow.
as they were before. or
Oh my
something
God.
like
That's it must be so exciting also to be seeing so many different kinds of
Exactly,
art,
yes.
right? Well, Monsters, you are listening to Heard on Thursdays. I'm your host, Rio Rams, and today we're talking about turning passion into a livelihood, why creativity matters beyond the canvas and the stage, and how art and music can help us take care of ourselves and each other with Alexi Yotoko and Luigi Yotoko. We will be back in just a little bit, only here on Manila's hottest Monster RX93.1.
that.
Monster presents Heard on Thursdays, the iconic radio talk show that made Philippine FM radio talk. Winner of multiple KBP Golden Dove Awards. HOT. Heard on Thursdays. Your host, Rhea Rams.
Your host, Rhea Rams, and today we are with your friends in creativity, the duo behind ArtbudsPH, Alexi and Luigi Yotoko. So one of the things that I really, really love about ArtBuds is how it really opens the doors of art to everybody. So Alexi, Luigi, can you guys talk a little bit about this idea that art isn't just for artists? You know, why do you think it's so important for people, no matter their skill level, to make time for creativity?
Yeah, so we've been talking about this a lot. Luigi and I are very inspired by a lot of people who've created spaces like this and who give advice to artists. We're number one is Rick Rubin and Elizabeth Gilbert. They're like our main inspirations for everything. But like to answer your question, when it comes to creating the creating stuff, I think it's really important. It's a beautiful place to be in, like a beautiful headspace to be in the act of creating something or just making something, whether it's bad, whether it's
There are
good.
definite mental health benefits.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's really great for anybody, especially non-artists, because that beautiful space that you're accessing in your brain is really like it needs an outlet.
hmm
Yeah, and when it like nowadays you don't really have outlets like that because people are
Mhm.
rarely bored and they don't really pick up a pen and pencil or like draw something. They don't really like um maybe like create a song in their head, write a song in their head or anything like that. Like it's not as common to see people do that, especially in their adult lives.
Mhm.
Yes.
So when we created this space, like we wanted people to just make something and really spend the day creating something, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether you consider yourself a creative, it doesn't matter. Everybody is a creative, in my opinion.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I
We
love
wanted
that.
to change the stigma too for artists. Like
Mhm.
there's a stigma that artists are like tortured or like
Yeah.
or like they're
Mm.
problematic or whatever. But I think everyone's an artist. Like
Yeah.
you can live a creative life through, cooking or whatever, any in your daily life.
Right.
There are a lot of creative outputs, and when you do that, when you're creating, I think it's like magic. So
It
you're
is
very,
really
yeah.
magical, and
Yeah.
that's something that we always like to think about, and it brings us back to earth when we think of creativity as magic. It's the only place in this world that we can access that certain type of magic. I think it's either creativity or love,
Right.
but those things are just so important, and it gives us like a brighter view of life, and like it makes your day just so much better knowing that you can make something. Your brain can make something. Your brain and your hands, you can do something
regardless of the output too.
Yeah.
Like you're present when you do it. You're having
Mhm.
fun.
yeah
Like what we said earlier, you're not afraid of being a beginner or whatever.
Mhm,
So it's
mhm.
exploring new things.
yeah
All of that.
and it really takes away the fear in like creating anything.
Right.
Yeah, just having that.
And I love what you guys mentioned about how nobody's bored now.
Mhm.
And by that, you mean people are always scrolling on
Mhm.
their phones, they're always watching TV shows,
Mhm.
streaming, and because of that, they feel like there's no time or
Yeah.
is it time or there's no motivation
Mhm.
Mhm.
or reason rather to pick up a
Stop
pen or
and-
to
yeah.
like stop and just be present like you
Yeah.
guys mentioned.
Mhm.
It's like something that you kind of have to put more effort to because before
Yeah.
without like these streaming services without doom scrolling, you really have to think like what can I do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just gonna be like in bed staring at the ceiling. But back then I would say creativity was a bit more present. I mean, not to say that like creating content online.
It's still
It's
creative.
still
Yes,
It's still
yes.
creative, yeah.
It's still a creative pursuit, but then creating content is different than consuming content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
people get so comfortable consuming that they don't think about creating.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want to shift it a little bit to the music perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people think, right, like, oh, I can't sing, I never learned an instrument, music's not for me.
Mhm.
What's your response to that? And why do you think that music is something that's universal, even if they're not professional?
I think if you like music, you can make music. Like because of the the taste you have by listening and all. You get different flavors of music, and you can with the software and tech nowadays, you can
Mhm.
really, it's easy to make music with like Logic and all that.
Yeah, and we believe that anybody can sing. I mean, to be
That
fair,
was my
there are
hashtag when I was teaching. Anyone can sing.
yeah, like to be fair, I get it. Some people can be tone deaf.
Oh, oh yeah, okay.
Some people can be tone deaf, but very rarely are people tone deaf. And even if they are, there's still an outlet for them to make music. Like,
Right.
you can make music no matter what your skill level is,
Mhm.
and that
Yeah.
makes it really fun for Luigi. To
Yes,
sing.
yes. I mix all different levels of singers too, and I think anything in tune is really good. So
Yeah, there are only 12 notes. You always say that there are only 12 notes, so
Mhm.
there's so much you can do with that, and there's like it seems daunting, but it's actually not.
Right.
And for the non-musicians, quote unquote, it's really fulfilling to try like a new instrument, like piano, guitar. I don't think it's ever too late to try as
Mm.
well.
I like that.
Mhm.
It's never too late, because a lot of times people think that you have to start young to
Yes,
be
yes.
good at it.
Mhm.
But I remember my cousin said she wants to take voice lessons, not because she wants to be good at it, but just because she likes doing it. She likes
Mhm.
to sing.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to do that too.
Yeah, like Ann Curtis.
That's
Are you kidding me? She makes so much money off of that. Like, she just loves singing.
You're right.
That's
true.
amazing.
And I think
I
that's
think
what
she's a great singer.
yeah, she's great. But she just did it because she likes it, you know?
yeah, and I think that's what makes it so special. Like when you see someone singing, even if they're not so great at it, but you can see that they're enjoying
Yeah,
and
you
they
feel
love
the
it.
emotions.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, natural talent is overrated.
Yeah.
It's overrated. It's more about like showing up and like being there in your creative space, making something, you know,
Mhm.
like, so what if you're naturally talented? If you do nothing with that, then it's not worth anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's something that resonates with a lot of people, because creativity is also just about care, about enjoying yourself, right?
Mhm.
It's not just for the final product,
Mhm.
but it's also for yourself. So can you both share how art and music can act as forms of self-care, maybe even as therapy?
Well, for me, after a long day of working or whatever, it's nice to just jam and make some music. It keeps me present and all. Um, if for other people, it could be singing songs they like, or you can start with just listening to music and curating playlists. Something
Yeah.
like as small as that is already a creative pursuit, I would
Yeah,
say.
I feel like people get like, there's some people who are really meticulous in creating playlists and how these songs evoke feelings, because
Right.
that's what music is. Like, it
Right.
really is self-expression, and a lot of people resonate with that. And for example, like on a hard day, if I feel like I'm really stressed or something, I will listen to my playlist full of sad songs and just have a good cry for no reason.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
it's catharsis. It's great. And that feeling that it evokes, like if you're angry, you want to listen to angry music. If you're, you know, feeling happy, you listen to happy music or something like that. And I feel like what it makes it even better when you get to sing it or you get to play it yourself. Like, you have that certain connection to the art,
Right.
which is really amazing.
Yeah, and it's the same way for art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
like
agree.
just kind of sitting down and be I think it's really what really struck me about what you guys said is like it's how these things can make you so present in a world that's moving so fast, in a world that's like
Exactly.
kind of disconnected
Mhm.
because of social media,
Everything, yes.
everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I really like that. And sometimes it's like you guys said, it's not about being good, it's about feeling good, and that shift is so powerful.
Yes, yes.
Now, have you guys seen people surprise themselves at Art Buds? Like maybe they walked in, I don't know how to draw a stick figure,
Mhm.
I can't even carry a tune, but then when they finished, they were like, "Oh, this I have a creative side that I didn't expect."
Yeah, it happens a lot. It
Mhm.
happens, I would say, like once a day, really. Like, people get super surprised with what they're able to create because they come in with that fear, and then once they're done, they're just like, actually, that was not so bad. I'm not too bad at this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or even if they are bad, they're gonna look at it after a while and just like, yeah, this is objectively bad, but like as a whole, I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back and be better next time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so people do surprise themselves a lot, especially in music.
I would say
Yeah.
in music too, like they come in as shy kids and then they come out performing in fairs after.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've had a lot of those students, and it's really fun to watch them like come out of their
Build their
shell.
confidence and
Yeah,
all.
Like we've had like many students who were very soft spoken, like really the type that whispers when they talk and stuff like
Right.
that. But once they start getting a feel for music and loving the songs that they put out, and also hearing themselves, once they hear themselves and the way that we see them, like if Luigi produces their songs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because that's part of our
Yeah, in my
lessons.
voice
Yeah.
lessons, I do a produced cover for them at the end. So
Mhm.
that's what they love at the end. They're
Yeah,
like, "Oh
once
my gosh, I sound so good."
yeah, when they hear themselves, they're just like, wow, that confidence. And that, like I said earlier about like somebody complimenting my little doodle, and it really
Yeah.
like changed my view of
Mhm.
being an artist. That's the same way that people, like, if they hear themselves and they're just like, wow, I'm actually good, like they will pursue it on their own. And that's something that we love seeing. Is like, that's our goal, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially at the younger age, the goal is really not a specific skill level. The goal is for them to, at the end, they want to keep going. That's
Mhm.
that's the only goal at that age, I would
Yeah.
say. Mhm.
Fostering a love for art
Whatever,
and
yeah,
music.
art and
Right.
music.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm.
And beyond the individual, there's also something about creating together.
Mhm.
Like you guys mentioned that you have the
Paint your
paint
partner.
your partner.
Mhm.
And I know you guys also have the shared
Yeah,
canvas.
Yes.
collabstract is what we called it.
Oh,
Yeah.
collabstract. There.
Collabstract.
So whether it's group art, workshop, collaborative art, or maybe like a jam session, how do you see creativity building connection and community among people who might have come in as strangers?
Ooh, that happens often actually. We have these little conversation cards that we keep on the tables.
Mhm.
And some people have come in on their own. Some people have come in waiting for their friends, maybe, or people we've seen also people who are online friends meeting for the first time at
Mhm.
ArtBuds.
Oh.
And it's so fun because they're painting something, and of course, like they're stumbling along the way, like they're figuring out like, oh no, I made a mistake here and there, and like it kind of like it's a good icebreaker. And when we have these little cards, we have conversation cards, and the questions are like, let's say, when was the last time that you surprised yourself? Or
Mhm.
when was like, if you could be invisible for a day, what would you do?
Right.
And
Yeah.
people are getting to know each other while doing an activity, a shared activity, and it's really fun to watch that friendship
Yes,
blossom.
I mean, you've been to the studio, so you see the
Mhm.
tables are, we only have 4 tables, and you end up sitting with other people sometimes.
Right.
Mhm.
So sometimes you're forced to meet people, which is good because
Yeah.
I feel like when you're painting, the wall gets broken down a little, and you
Yeah.
can talk.
Yeah.
You get to compliment each other's work,
Mhm.
and then like you maybe get a you feel less insecure seeing other people maybe not as good as well,
Yeah.
and it's nice to see everybody in that creative like flow.
Right. Right. I mean, again, when I was there, you could really feel the energy, the
Mhm.
buzz of like everyone just wanting to, be on their art.
Mhm.
And like I said, there was like the person beside me, right?
Mhm.
They were painting their partner,
Mm.
and it was so good, and I was like, wow, it's so good. And then they just started talking to us, and it was just it's such a good opener,
Mhm.
like when it comes to creativity, any kind of creativity would be such a great opener
Mhm.
to build friendships.
It makes it
Yes.
easier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Monsters, you are listening to Heard on Thursdays. Again, I'm your host, Ria Rams. We still have so much more to talk about turning passion into a livelihood, why creativity matters beyond the canvas and the stage, and how art and music can help us care for ourselves and each other with Alexi and Luigi Yotoko. We are going to be back in just a little bit, only here on Manila's hottest Monster RX 93.1.
The Monster presents, heard on Thursdays, the iconic radio talk show that made Philippine FM radio talk. Winner of multiple KBP Golden Dove Awards. HOT, heard on Thursdays. Your host, Rhea Rams.
Manila's hottest Monster RX93.1. Welcome back to Heard on Thursdays. We are here with Alexi and Luigi Yotoko. We're talking about art, of course, and I am your host, Rhea Rams. Now let's dig into what makes ArtBuds so special. One of the things I noticed is that creativity here takes so many forms. It can be painting on canvas, on mugs, and a lot of other things. So, Alexi, can you guys walk us through some of the different ways that people can create in your space? Like, why was it so important for you to make it accessible and varied?
Mhm. So, the things that you can make when you come in, you choose an item to paint. The items are either a canvas, you can paint on a tote bag too, you can paint on a mug. A lot of people love the mugs. It's a bestseller right now. We also have these little figurines that you can keep on your desk.
Ceramics,
So,
yeah.
a little like a mushroom that opens up so you can keep things inside, like jewelry. And then we have like this little heart tray, which you painted actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like a little tray that you can keep your jewelry in. We also have ashtrays and like other forms of like cups, plates, stuff like that. So when we thought of the product list, it really just happened on the go. I would say we started off with the
Since we were teaching kids at first, it was
Yeah.
more of the animal figurines, like a cat, a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
and
and
then
as we had older customers, we were like, maybe they would appreciate a tote bag.
Yeah,
Oh,
or-
okay.
and people like to suggest things to us. Like customers like to say, "Oh, I would love it if you guys had plates," and then we'll be like, "Okay, sure, let's source some plates. Let's do
Right.
that." And it was nice having things that are both useful and like beginner friendly.
Mhm.
And it's nice to, especially the mugs. I think it's a great seller because you can drink from it every day, and it's like your
Not as much pressure as paint your partner, you know.
Yeah.
oh, paint your partner. It comes with a lot of pressure for couples. But I mean, it shouldn't. But you know, people do get a lot of pressure, so we say, okay, paint a mug instead, and it's something that you can keep. Some people like painting things for their partners.
Oh,
So
right.
yeah, so for example, they paint a tote bag and they say they're gonna paint all their partner's favorite things on there
Aw.
and give it to them at the end of the session. It's really fun. And we like the variety because we think that it's a reason to come back for one.
Yeah.
It's a reason to come back, and two, it gives people like different levels of comfort with their art, like with their skill level. If people don't feel like they're gonna keep a painting, or if people feel like they'd rather have like a mug, some people paint like just one color, like the item, like for example, like a tray that is just one color,
Okay.
and just the act of painting was fun enough for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so awesome that it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like there's so many different options
Mm-hmm.
because there's less pressure to,
Yeah.
you know. Now, Luigi, I know it's the same with music. You don't just stick to one kind of lesson. I mean, you specifically teach voice, but you guys also had guests come in to teach guitar.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
how do you help people find their own connection to music, even if they walk in thinking that they have zero talent?
Yes, because I also have had students who were like forced by their parents to have music lessons, and those are the most challenging, I would say, of course.
Ooh.
But then the way I connect and the way I feel like my students like being taught is in the first session I ask for their 5 favorite songs.
Okay.
So I tell them that what we'll be working on is only music they like, and then they're like, okay, and then. We build, even if it's like a random Minecraft YouTube song or whatever.
Okay.
Yes, we've had a lot of those.
Yeah, a lot of- or
Yeah.
like it's really random. Some are like Tears for Fears, you know, just
Yeah.
like really random
Uh-huh.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they're into, I feel like that's how you get them, and then
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember we had a student say before, like this kid was like maybe 10 years old
Uh-huh.
and was like, "Oh, what kind of music are you into?" And he said, "Oh, I like modern music." And I was like, "Oh, modern music, what's that?" And he said, NSYNC. And I was like, "That's
Love
modern
that.
music to your mom."
yeah, you can tell also when the music taste is inspired by the parents.
Uh-huh.
Especially at that age, the music taste is definitely inspired by the parents, and it's really fun to see. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I mean, I think that's what makes ArtBuds so beautiful. it proves that creativity isn't just like this one size fits all,
Mhm.
you know? And for both of you, what's this common misconception that people have about making art or music or just being creative? And how do you see that shift once they actually try it?
I think a common misconception is that you need to be focused on the output. So a lot of people think of the finished product
Mhm.
and before they even start, and then
Well, that's
they
good for some people, but
It
then
is.
Guilty.
yeah, but you should also be enjoying the process.
Mhm.
yeah, the
Yes.
process is like super super important, and I think that when you remove the idea of the finished product, you have a more fruitful creative experience.
Mhm. There's more
So
play involved.
yes,
Mhm.
it is all about playing. So we let go of that as adults. We let go of the idea of playing, but that's really what creativity is.
Mhm.
And when they come in and they realize that, oh, I actually don't need to have a plan, or maybe my plan doesn't have to go exactly how I pictured it,
Mhm.
then they end up surprising themselves a lot and they end up having a more fruitful experience. Yeah.
I love that because I remember when I came in there,
Mhm.
I remember it took me like 30 minutes
Looking
before
for
I was like, what am I gonna do? And I was so focused on the output, right? And I'm sure there are a lot of people, a lot of our listeners too, are like, I want this to look good in the
Mhm.
end. But how do you help your customers or the people who go to you guys for creativity to get rid of that mindset and to just enjoy the process?
Well, we like to help people try to achieve that at 1st. Like
Mhm.
if they ask us for advice and they're saying, "Hey, I want this specific like I want this to look like Snoopy," or something like that. And so we give them advice and tips, but ultimately if they mess up, we like to give them a lot of compliments because really like why would you want a copy of something or a print of something when you
Mm.
could have something that's completely your own? And the one of my favorite things to say is that when you make a mistake, it adds character, and character is something that you would definitely want in a piece of art
Right.
in your home or something you kept, and it's yours. And what's great about it is it's not about being perfect; it's about being yours.
I
Yeah,
love that. I love that so much.
Mhm.
Wait,
yeah.
let us sit with it. No, but I really love that. Like when you make a mistake, it adds character and it makes it yours.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that's just such a great mindset to have, like a great shift in perspective for
Mhm.
anybody who's trying to get into the process of being creative again.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, um, I'd love to zoom in also on the wellness side of this, of
Mhm.
course. We hear so much about art therapy or music therapy, but even outside of formal therapy, creativity can just be so, so healing, right?
Mhm.
So, what have you both noticed about how art and creativity impact people's mental health?
Well, anecdotally, I feel like we we've never had customers leave angry or sad. Like everyone's happy after creating like having a good session at
Yeah.
Artbuds. I feel like they're like, wow, that was fun. I'm gonna come back. That's usually what we hear.
Yeah, we like to psych ourselves into like work in the morning. Like on the way to work, we say like, "Hey, we're here to give people a good experience. We're here
Mhm.
to
Let's make people happy,
let's make
letting them
people
paint.
happy."
Mhm.
Because honestly, you're not gonna go into an art studio to paint feeling really bad.
Mhm.
Not really. Like
Right.
you know, you're open. You always come in with an open mind to have a good time.
Mhm.
And I think when it comes to mental health and providing that space and that outlet, people really not just the therapeutic like physical activity of painting, which I think is very therapeutic in and of itself, you know,
Mhm.
like the act of painting is very therapeutic, but giving people a like a chance to be off of their phones, be off of
Right.
like
Mhm.
be off the grid a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, we don't have Wi-Fi in the studio for a
Yes,
reason.
that was intentional.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Wait, I actually love that because when you're there unintentionally, even if you're the type of person who's always checking your phone, unintentionally you kind of just get so
Mhm.
no, I got to do this,
Mhm.
right? And that's such a beautiful space to be in because we don't really get that opportunity,
Mhm.
especially nowadays. So I love that you guys are able to provide that space to just let people slow down a little bit in a world that's moving so, so quickly.
Mhm.
And beyond the product, like the mug, the painting, the song, what do you hope that people take home after a session with ArtBuds? Is it relaxation? Is it confidence? A sense of play? What's the bigger takeaway that you want them to carry into their everyday
I
lives?
think aside from creative living, it would be a better relationship with making art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the openness to continue making something. So
Mm-hmm.
whether or not painting is your medium, I feel like everybody has a creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like having a good relationship with that is what we want to we want people to take home.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, they're painting something and it doesn't go completely well, but then they like the act of just making something, then they're gonna come home and say like, oh, maybe I should try that recipe I've been trying to cook for a while. Even if it
Right.
goes wrong, I'm pretty sure I'll have that same confidence or the good relationship with it. And just having a sense of like, maybe I should incorporate better hobbies into my lifestyle. And instead of, being afraid to attempt something, I should just incorporate it in my life or something.
Exactly.
Like
We
that.
have like a free painting session if you come back policy, meaning if you don't finish your artwork, you can come back for free and finish it.
Oh,
And
love
we've
that.
had a few customers being like, they're like, I think I'll come back and make it better. And
Yeah,
then,
they come back,
Aw.
make it better, or sometimes they come back just because they want another
Right.
another chance to get into that creative zone and just continue working on it. The continuation is what we kind of want people to take home.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I love that. I think continuation, like we've been talking about, right? The continuation of just making a creative space or making time for creativity is
Mhm.
just so important, especially again in a world that is moving so fast. Now,
Mhm.
monsters, you are listening to Heard on Thursdays. I'm your host, Ria Rams, and today we are talking about turning passion into a livelihood, why creativity matters beyond the canvas and the stage, and of course, how art and music can help us take care of ourselves and other people with, of course, Alexi and Luigi Yotoko. Let's be back. We are going to be back in a little bit, only here on Manila's Hottest Monster, RX 93.1.
The Monster presents Heard on Thursdays, the iconic radio talk show that made Philippine FM radio talk. Winner of multiple KBP Golden Dove Awards. HOT. Heard on Thursdays. Your host, Rhea Rams.
Manila's Hottest Monster, RX 93.1. Welcome back to Heard on Thursdays. Again, I'm your host, Rhea Rams, and today we are with our friends in creativity, the duo behind ArtbudsPH, Alexi and Luigi Yotoko. Let's talk about connection. Okay, because at the heart of it, art and music just really bring people together.
Mhm.
So, Alexi, when you see somebody pick up a paintbrush or a pencil to do art for the first time, what changes in them?
What changes in terms of connection is more of just like now we have something in common. You know? So anybody who decides to just pick up a paintbrush and start a creative pursuit, now we have something to talk about. And it's also a way to connect with other people who are in that space.
Mhm.
So now you have like this icebreaker, you're all doing something together.
Right.
And even if you're working on your individual piece, you have that sense of community as well. And I think that that's super fun and also very relaxing and very like
Mhm.
it helps me be able to connect with people. I mean, I could talk about art for forever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that's one thing that really changes. What do you think?
I would say the same for music. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys think that Filipinos have a natural affinity for art and music? I mean, for
Of
music,
course, yes.
for music, right? Like people
Definitely.
all over the world are like, Filipinos are just
Best
great,
singers, of
best
course.
singers.
Mhm.
But how do you think culture plays into how people connect with creativity here in the Philippines?
Hmm. I mean, with music, definitely, there's a lot to
Right.
connect with. Like, even historically, like, I'm a big OPM fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's some magic that comes from Filipino music and Filipino art. So I I'm a firm believer that Philippine art and music and fashion are better than like any others. Like,
Love that.
I am a huge fan of any Filipino that has like pursue something creative, because a lot of the time it like brings out a culture that we sometimes overlook. Filipino culture is so beautiful, and I
Right.
will say that till the day that I die. And any chance that you get to champion that, whether it's um like rooted in history and culture, or something that's just Filipino because you are
Right.
Filipino, just like adding to the cultural sphere or anything like that. Yeah, I think that it connects us, and it's something that is just even more beautiful because we get to share it together. We have a very unique way of seeing things, and any chance that we get to share that is really amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know you guys also offer like group classes, right?
Mhm.
Group
We
classes
do,
or
yes.
team building
Yeah.
Mhm.
sessions. Have you ever witnessed moments at ArtBuds where creativity built real community? Because let's face it, for example, for team buildings, sometimes they come in, they're a company,
They have to do it or
Mhm.
yeah,
something. Yeah.
they're not yet that close. So was there ever like a moment where you witnessed this build a real community?
Yeah, like, well, we get a lot of people, like companies especially. We get a lot of teams that never met in person.
Oh, of
They're all like
course.
They're
purely
all
online.
Right, right.
Mhm.
So this is like their first introduction to each
Uh-huh.
other, and of course, like we said, it's a great icebreaker. And I feel like a lot of the time people come out having friends at the end of the day, and we've had a lot of community events as well. Like
Yes, we've
our
partnered with a few communities.
Yeah, one of our favorite was Sunny Club.
Mhm.
They're a very big queer community.
Okay.
It's an all women thing, and it was great that Luigi was there,
I was
and
I was
they
the
made
only guy in the event.
yeah, they made
They
him
called
feel
me.
so special
Yeah, I was
though.
their
Like,
honorary lesbian.
yeah,
I love
and
that.
it was a great way to meet people. It's a
Mhm.
great way to connect with people, and I think that that's what's great about it
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for fun, if you guys could invite any artist or musician, living or gone, to hang out at ArtBuds for the day, who would you invite?
I think artist.
Artist?
Yeah, because I mean, because the studio is more conducive for visual arts. I would
I
say.
don't know. I like well, like I said earlier, our biggest like idols, like we're the biggest fans of Rick Rubin
Mhm.
and what's her name? Elizabeth Gilbert.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Gilbert is a writer,
Okay.
and she wrote this beautiful book called Big Magic, which I recommend to any creative. It is an amazing book, and it's the reason why we've
Do what we do.
yeah, it's the
Basically.
reason why we do what we
Mhm.
do. And Rick Rubin is a music producer, and he is one of our biggest inspirations because he also started from having very little knowledge of music and
He
Okay.
still
the
has
craft.
very little knowledge
He
of
still
music.
does,
Mhm.
and he just creates a space for creatives to make their own like artworks, to make their masterpieces. So those are two people, and he also wrote a very good book called The Creative Act, which we hold like a Bible. It's really great, and I feel like those two people would be someone that we would invite to Art Buzz just to um see the space and witness the community that came from
Right.
creativity.
That
Oh, love
and
that.
Olivia Dean, because we love Olivia. Dean.
Oh yeah, musician Olivia Dean.
For
She's
sure,
one of my
yeah.
favorites right now.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that would be so awesome. Like
Yeah.
if Olivia Dean were performing some like
Yeah.
music.
Like
While people were painting.
Yeah.
yeah, to be fair, every time, because we have a lot of Olivia Dean on the playlist, every time the Olivia Dean song comes on, people are just like, "Oh, I like this one." They always compliment the song that's on the playlist if it's Olivia Dean. So she would be perfect. Like
Yeah.
the market loves her already. Yeah.
All right, and before we close, we'd love to give you a space to share. What's next for ArtbudsPH? Do you guys have any projects or workshops or events that we should be watching out for? And also, where can people follow you guys and support your work?
Well, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok, artbuds.ph.
Yeah, we also have a Facebook, although we're more active on Instagram and Facebook. But in terms of future ventures, we might consider doing other creative style pursuits.
And
Mhm.
also, we're looking into other products you can paint. We're
Yeah.
always looking for
Okay.
new
We're
products.
always looking
yeah.
for new stuff to paint,
Mhm.
new activities, more like more friendly activities. So best to come with friends, best to come with a partner. We want to create more activities that you can do with other people.
Okay.
And like for future events, we're looking into doing more community-based events.
Okay.
So any communities that want to reach out and want to say like, hey, we want to meet like we want to have a community outing like at your studio, we're so open to that. We love seeing so many different communities.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
you guys also do remote events, right?
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes.
do.
Yeah. So if you guys have like a birthday party that you want to do at home and you want
We can
to
go
have
to
an
you.
activity.
Yes,
Mhm.
we can go to you if you guys. Our studio can fit up to like 24 people. So if you have a community bigger than that, we'd love to meet you guys and still provide that space for you anywhere. We can bring it anywhere. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And again, ArtbudsPH is in Caravan
Yeah,
in
Chino
Makati.
Rosas, Makati, by the Toyo Eatery area.
Yes, but we're on the 6th floor of Building 8, so
Okay.
that's where to find us. You can find their address on our socials too.
Yeah, so again, Monsters, that is artbuds.ph. And of course, I know you guys have your own ventures as well. Alexi,
Mhm.
you're a digital artist.
Yes.
Mhm.
So where can they find your digital art?
So my digital art is mostly on Instagram. It's awitoko.art. I just recently changed the name because I changed my last name.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, by the way,
You
newlyweds.
should, thank you.
Yeah.
You should spell that for everyone.
Yeah.
AWITOKO.art on Instagram.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's where I post a lot of my digital artworks. I'm open to commissions.
She still does commissions.
I still
yes.
do a lot of commissions,
Mhm.
which I very much enjoy doing. So if you have an idea and you want to see it come to life, I'm here for you.
Love that. And Luigi, you do music.
Yes, Luigi Yotoko on Instagram and TikTok
And Spotify.
and Spotify.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. And you do original music too, right?
Yes, we make music together actually.
Oh my
It's just
God.
really
Okay.
fun.
And that is power couple right
We'll
there.
be
man.
sending you our demos for the indie ground.
Yeah.
section.
Yes,
Yes,
we'd
we
love
will.
that. Okay, now before I let you go, is there anybody that you want to say hi to?
Shout out to our parents,
Yeah.
our in-laws, my
Yes.
in-laws and our parents.
Yes,
yeah.
Mm.
shout out to Nika, who is
Nika, who's listening now. Also.
yes, listening to at the studio.
Our
Thank
third
you.
member of ArtBuds.
Yes, thank you for keeping the studio in place and doing what we do best while we're here.
Yeah, and that's it,
Yeah.
right?
All right. Well, Alexi, Luigi, thank you so much for joining us today. This
Thank you, yeah.
conversation was so much fun, and it was just such a great reminder that creativity isn't just for artists or singers; it's for
Mhm.
everyone, and how important it is to have creativity in your life.
Mhm.
So hopefully your listeners were reminded of that, and hopefully after this show, they start to pick up a pen
Yeah, we
or
hope to see
maybe
you in ArtBuds again.
yeah, make a reservation in ArtBuds. But once again, Monsters, this has been Heard on Thursdays with me, Ria Rams. Tonight we talked about, or rather today, we talked about passion and purpose and of course the power of art and music with the founders of ArtbudsPH, Alexi and Luigi Yotoko. Catch us again, same time next week, only here on Manila's hottest Monster, RX93.1.
Monster exclusive interview. Monster exclusive interview. Only from Manila's hottest. Monster RX 93.1.